This section is 5.5 and 5.6 of Honors Algebra 2, Operations on Rational Expressions. So by operations, I mean multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So we're going to start with multiplying and dividing rational expressions. Example number 1. So our directions are to simplify. We've got 3x squared minus 6x over x squared minus 6x plus 9 times x squared minus x minus 6 divided by x squared minus 4. So two rational expressions, two fractions, multiplied together. In order to simplify, we're going to factor everything first. So let's start with the first fraction and start in the numerator. We have a common factor of 3x that we can take out, leaving us with x minus 2. And on the bottom, x squared minus 6x plus 9 factors as x minus 3 times x minus 3. In the second fraction, in the numerator, x squared minus 6x minus 6 factors as x plus 2 times x minus 3. And at the bottom of the second fraction, x squared minus 4 is the difference of squares that factors as x minus 2 times x plus 2. Now we have everything factored, and all of those factors are multiplied. So we can cancel common factors if they are on the top and on the bottom, even if they are in separate fractions, because everything is multiplied. So the x minus 2 that's on the top cancels with the x minus 2 that's on the bottom. The x plus 2 that's on the top cancels with the x plus 2 that's on the bottom. The x minus 3 that's on the top cancels with the one of the x minus 3 that's on the bottom. What does that leave us with? It leaves us with a 3x on the top and x minus 3 on the bottom. And we can't cancel anything else. We cannot cancel those 3's or those x's because they are not multiplied into the denominator. We have a factor of x minus 3 in the denominator, not a factor of x or a factor of 3. So we can't cancel any common factors, and we are simplified. So that's the idea. Factor everything, cancel common factors. So number 2, 6xy divided by a squared, or 6xy over a squared divided by 3y over a cubed x. Dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by what? The reciprocal. So good. So dividing by 3y over a cubed x is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal, a cubed x over 3y. So whenever you have a division, that should be your first thing. Change any division into multiplication by the reciprocal. And then everything is already factored here because there's no addition and subtraction going on. So we can cancel things that are multiplied into the bottom and into the top. For instance, there's a y in the bottom that cancels with the y in the top. There's an a squared in the bottom. There's an a cubed on the top. It means we'll cancel 2 of the a's that are on the top and leave ourselves with just one a on the top, a to the first power. Okay, that 3 that's on the bottom can cancel into the 6 2 times, leaving us with 2 and x squared and a on the top. On the bottom, what's left? Nothing. A squared was canceled, the 3 was canceled, the y was canceled. So really, we'll just write this as 2a x squared, or 2x squared a. So if it's just over 1, we don't need to write the 1 on the bottom. Number 3, 6p squared q over r divided by 3pq squared over r times 2q squared over pr. Let's remember our order of operations here. When we get to just multiplication and division, we don't necessarily do multiplication first. We do them in the order that this multiplication and division occurs from left to right. So we're going to start with this first division. So we need to change it to multiplication by a reciprocal. So we're going to flip the second fraction. We do not flip the last fraction because we are multiplying by it, we are not dividing by it. If I wanted to divide by both of those last 2 fractions, I'd have to put them both in parentheses. Okay, now we've gotten rid of the division, so let's cancel common factors. We've got an r on the bottom, which cancels with an r on the top. 3 cancels into the 6, leaving us with 2 on the top. There's 2 p's on the bottom, which will cancel out the two p's that are on the top. There's a q squared on the bottom, which will cancel with a q squared on the top, but leaves us with a q still on the top. So I think I've canceled everything that I can cancel. That leaves me with 2 times 2, which is 4, and a q on the top, and then simply an r on the bottom. 4q over r. Number 4. A squared minus 4ab plus 3b squared over a plus 2b over a squared minus ab minus 6b squared. Since we do them in the order in which they occur, normally we think of that as the order from left to right. You can also think of it as the order from top to bottom. So we're really dividing a squared minus 4ab plus 3b squared by a plus 2b first, and then we're dividing by a squared minus ab minus 6b squared. So I'm going to change that division into multiplication by a reciprocal. I'm going to rewrite this as a squared minus 4ab plus 3b squared over a plus 2b times, and really this is a squared minus ab minus 6b squared over 1. And so the reciprocal is 1 over a squared minus ab minus 6b squared. Now I've just got multiplication. I'm going to factor everything. So I factor a squared minus 4ab plus 3b squared. And that's going to be minus 3b minus 1b. On the bottom, a plus 2b cannot be factored. It has no common factors other than 1. But we'll think of it all as one factor, so I'm putting in parentheses just so I remember that. And the second fraction is a 1 on the top, and we factor a squared minus ab minus 6b squared on the bottom. And that's going to be a minus 3b times a plus 2b. And then we cancel common factors. The only common factor we have here is the a minus 3b, so we cancel that. That leaves us with a minus b times 1 on the top, which is just a minus b. And on the bottom, a plus 2b times a plus 2b, which is a plus 2b squared. And then we're done. We've canceled all the common factors. Okay, part 2. Adding and subtracting rational expressions. And the key, as with adding and subtracting any fractions, is to get a common denominator first. So number 5 here, we've already got a common denominator. That common denominator is x plus 2. So once we have the common denominator, we just add or subtract the numerators. Here it's going to be subtraction, because we're subtracting these two fractions here in the middle. So we've got 3x squared minus 8 minus, and we subtract the whole numerator of the second fraction. We put that numerator in parentheses. So we need to apply that negative symbol to everything that's in that numerator. And on the bottom, we just keep that common denominator down there. We're not adding or subtracting x plus 2 to itself. We just put that common denominator down there. Now let's simplify on the top. 3x squared minus 8 minus x squared plus 9 over x plus 2. And now we simplify the numerator. 3x squared minus x squared is 2x squared. Negative 8 plus 9 is plus 1, so 2x squared plus 1 over x plus 2. Now we need to check and make sure that there are no common factors to cancel. X plus 2 is already factored. 2x squared plus 1 cannot be factored. 2x squared and 1 don't have any common factors other than 1. And it's a plus, so it's not a minus, so we don't have to be concerned about a difference of squares. And thus everything is already factored. There are no common factors to cancel, and we're done. That is simplified. Next problem. 1 over 6a squared minus 1 over 2ab plus 3 over 8b squared. But we need a common denominator. So, what's that common denominator going to be? Well, it's going to be the least common multiple of the three denominators that we have. And this is why we've done these common multiples now. So what's the least common multiple of 6, 2, and 8? What's the smallest number that all three of those numbers go into? 24. So we want a 24 in our common denominator. With the variables, we need to take the highest power of each of the variables. So that's a squared and b squared. That way, by taking the highest power, we're guaranteed that each of the denominators will divide into it. So our common denominator is 24a squared b squared. That is the least common multiple of our three denominators. So now we need to multiply the numerator of our fractions by the term that we would multiply the denominator by in order to get that to be 24a squared b squared. So what did we multiply 6a squared by to get 24a squared b squared? Multiply the 6 by a 4, and then we need to multiply by a b squared as well. So if that's what we're multiplying by the denominator by, we need to multiply the numerator by the same thing. So 1 times 4b squared is just 4b squared. What do we multiply 2ab by to get 24a squared b squared? We multiply the 2 by 12. Then we need to multiply by an a and a b. So we get a squared and b squared. So we multiply 1 by 12ab, and we just get 12ab. What do we multiply 8b squared by to get 24a squared b squared? We multiply by 3a squared. So we multiply the 3 that we already have up there by 3a squared, and we get 9a squared. Okay. Now we have a common denominator, so we can subtract and add the numerators from left to right. We've got 4b squared minus 12ab plus 9a squared divided by 24a squared b squared, which is our common denominator. Okay. We simplify in the numerator. Can it be factored? Yes, it can. How do we factor it? 4 times 9 is 36. We look for two numbers that multiply together to give us 36. They add together to give us negative 12. That would be negative 6 and negative 6. We can't divide either negative 6 or negative 6 by 4, so we split up 4 into 2 and 2 and divide each of them by 2. And we get negative 3 and negative 3. So we've got 2b and 2b. And since we got negative 3 when we divided each of them by 2, we will have a minus 3a and a minus 3a. So that's 2b minus 3a squared over 24a squared b squared. And that's our final answer. So there should be an a after that 3. Number 7. 3 over x squared plus x minus 6 minus 2 over x squared minus 3x plus 2. So in order to figure out the common denominator, we need to factor the denominators. So in the first fraction, x squared plus x minus 6 would factor as x plus 3 times x minus 2. In the second fraction, 2 over x squared minus 3x plus 2, we factor the denominator. That'll be x minus 2 times x minus 1. Okay, so what's our common denominator? Well, the common denominator has to include all of the factors that are in our denominators. So that has to include x plus 3, x minus 2, and x minus 1. So that is going to be our common denominator. X plus 3 times x minus 2 times x minus 1. X minus 3 times x minus 2 times x minus 1. Okay, what do we multiply the first fraction by? We need to multiply it by an x minus 1. So in our numerator we'll have 3 times x minus 1. What do we multiply the second fraction by? An x plus 3. So we'll have 2 times x plus 3. Okay, now that we have a common denominator, we combine them into one fraction by subtracting the numerators. We've got 3 times x minus 1 minus 2 times x plus 3. All divided by x plus 3 times x minus 2 times x minus 1. We simplify in the numerator. We're going to leave the denominator factored because we want it factored so we can see if we have common factors later. So let's factor the numerator by first distributing the 3x minus 3, and distributing the negative 2, negative 2x minus 6. Leave the denominator the same. Combine like terms in the numerator. So 3x minus 2x is x, negative 3 minus 6 is negative 9. And our denominator is still x plus 3 times x minus 2 times x minus 1. Do we have any common factors that we can cancel? Nope. Our only factor in the numerator is x minus 9, and that does not appear in the denominator, so we cannot cancel any common factors. And we are done. Number 8. 1 over 2x squared minus 3xy plus y squared plus 1 over 4x squared minus y squared. So we need a common denominator. We're going to factor the two denominators that we have. 2x squared minus 3xy plus y squared. That factors as 2x and x, y and a y, and we'll need 2x minus y times x minus y. And then 4x squared minus y squared is the difference of squares. So the denominator of the second fraction would become 2x minus y times 2x plus y. So what is our common denominator? It would be 2x minus y times x minus y times 2x plus y. 2x minus y, x minus y, 2x plus y. X minus y, x minus y, 2x plus y. What do we multiply the first fraction by in order to get that common denominator? It has to be a 2x plus y. So we put that in the numerator. What do we multiply the second fraction by? It has to be an x minus y. So we multiply the numerator by that. And we add the two fractions together by adding the numerators together, putting it over our common denominator. So we've got 2x plus y plus x minus y. I can drop the parentheses because now I'm just multiplying each of them by 1, which doesn't change them, and then adding them together, so I don't have to worry about subtracting. 2x minus y times x minus y times 2x plus y down in the bottom. Combine like terms in the numerator. 2x plus x is 3x. Y minus y is 0. So we just got 3x over 2x minus y times x minus y times 2x plus y. No common factors to cancel, and so we're done. And here are your immediate practice problems. Simplify. Multiplication in the first one, subtraction in the second one, so make sure you get a common denominator in the second fraction. And that is the end of sections 5.5 and 5.6.